Good afternoon. You're joining me, James Anderson, reporting for the North Coast Courier at Ndlondo Reptile Park at Sugar Rush Park. Today we are joined by local snake catcher extraordinaire, Neville Wolmarans, who's going to be telling us a little bit about himself and also about the local snake and reptile life on the North Coast. Thank you for joining us, Neville.
Super, thanks James.
Neville, first I guess let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us, are you local to the North Coast? Is that where you come from originally?
No. I've come a far way. I've come from Zambia.
Okay.
That's where I was born and grew up. Well, did primary school. And then when I needed a decent education, my dad said, time to come to South Africa. And we came here and I finished high school in Nelspruit.
Okay.
But my passion for snakes and reptiles has taken me all over the country. And I've been through much of obviously South Africa, East Africa and Central Africa.
And where did that passion begin? Can you isolate a moment when you were a child? Were you always involved and active in wildlife and that sort of sphere, I suppose? Is that a fair characterization? Was it something you've been interested in since you were very, very young, I suppose?
Yeah, something that you get dunked in. You know, it's like bait for fishing. The bait doesn't necessarily want to be in the water, but it needs to go there to get the fish. And I grew up in the bush camps in Zambia. So my schooling was the early stages of homeschooling in a bush camp. Just went to go and do tests and exams and whatever, and then back to the bush. And my dad, being a field engineer with the British government, meant we moved basically from project to project to project all over.
Sure. And
two of the early visitors or early snake book authors, East African and Central African snake book authors, used to visit us quite regularly. And these guys sort of brought me in under the wing, mentored me, sort of changed my mindset, you know, to be questioning, to always ask, like they would randomly say, "Ooh, what's that?" And you say, "Oh, it's a scorpion." "All right, what's it doing?" "It's running." No. Why is it running? Mm-hmm. You know?
Absolutely, like you said, it's a mindset shift. It's not responding first by fear. It's responding first by inquisition, I suppose.
Yeah,
Curiosity is the word. Absolutely.
And you know, once a mind's curious and it seeks the knowledge and all that, then yes, you ask a lot of questions. You get a few answers that just raise 3 times more questions.
Absolutely.
And that's basically how it started. So the interest was entry-level snakes. That's what it was. But pretty soon I discovered that if I need to know more about snakes, I need to get to understand more about their environment and how they impact on the environment and the environment impacts on them.
Sure.
And so that's been a sort of life ambition, to get this all figured out, to get everything in the right boxes. And man, I'll tell you something, you never get everything in the right box.
I can imagine so.
So we're still learning, you know, over 50 years later, and I'm still learning more and more every day, you know.
I guess that's the thing, when you're in a field like this, there's always something else to learn, like you say. I suppose it keeps things interesting. So you can tell us a little bit about these, you can hear the sound of these things.
Yeah, these are the most phenomenal animals, you know, and when you looked in here, you said the camouflage, you'll never see this in the bush. But the truth is that it's got an advert on its back.
Okay. Explain that. Is that about the markings?
Yeah. You see that white rectangular pattern with the darker interspace in between? That if you're a large animal walking through the forest, you'd be looking down where you put your feet, hopefully. And you would see that. It would show you the plan view of the snake, so the shape. But it also mimics a typical Subsaharan cobra pattern, where you have the light and dark bands. And you see that snake is not going into a typical S posture like adders do.
Okay.
He's actually lifting his head. Now, sometimes they can lift their heads right up to 80 degrees, like that.
Is that for striking?
Again, resembling a cobra.
Yeah, absolutely.
No intention to strike. The intention is simply to warn and to say, don't stand on me. But the sound that these guys make is astronomical. So I'm just going to step up closer, and you can see.
The sound is astronomical. I can agree with you on that one.
Eh?
I would imagine a terrifying sound to hear in the wild. Maybe not for you, Neville, but for...
Well, I'll tell you what, if it's pretty dark in a coastal dune forest, and you're walking and suddenly you hear this, you do a close inspection of the area around your foot first, you know?
So will they only strike if you step on them?
Yeah, if you stood on it, it would strike, yeah.
And are they local?
They occur from Mtnzini northwards.
Okay.
And their distribution carries them through most of what's East Africa, up until you meet up with Central Africa. And then they sort of go across to the Congo River. So everything south and east of the Congo River, these guys in suitable habitat or available, that's where they occur.
I must say, I've never heard that sound coming from a snake. Is that unique to the Gaboon adder? Or is that something a lot of snakes make?
There's a number of snakes that do that. People ask me who owns Ndlondo Reptile Park, and I will put up my hand up and say, I'm owned by Ndlondo Reptile Park.
I suppose what I'm getting at is that it's for passion rather than for profit for you. That's where this all comes from.
Absolutely.
For you and Helen, your wife.
Yeah.